Hello YTPC, this is Steve and you're watching Smoking Cardboard. I'm in my basement. All the 6 little ones are in their bed, so if it looks like I'm acting like I'm doing something illegal showing you my collection, it's not. I'm just trying to be sneaky. So, Sea Smoke Pipes. You asked for this, so if anybody doesn't like this video, you can blame him. But I sure know that my wife is really tired of listening to me talk about board games, so I'm so glad you asked. Sea Smoke Pipes, great guy, makes awesome pipes and pottery, and is an awesome friend. We just want to check out his channel and support him. So do that. So I am now going to show you a couple things from my board game collection. So his giveaway was, sorry, I'm holding the camera with one hand. His giveaway was for us to just show off a collection. It could be pipes and tobacco, just something else they were really passionate about. And I have a number of different things, but this is my by far biggest collection of stuff, and I try not to make it an unused collection, but it's tough to play games with people that don't exist, so sometimes not so used. Anyway, let me flip around the camera. I'm going to give you a real quick overview of some of my board games here, and then I have some art from other artists, board game artists, interpretation of other people's board games. I really enjoy these different arts from the different board games, so I have them hung up. Guess maybe it'd be cool if tobacco tin artists would do the same thing. Let me show you my other shelf. All right, I got too many games to really show you guys all. This box is for all my painting miniatures. But let me just snag a couple games that I want to show off, and we'll focus this thing in a little bit. All right. I'm going to spend way more time than you guys ever care about just a small sampling of my games. But it's fun to talk about it, and for the one person that wants to actually listen about this stuff and see it, that's good. Mel Harris, you don't have to watch this. I give you permission to move on to the next video. So we have all different types of games here. This one is Captain Sonar. You are on 2 teams of up to 8 players, so 4 people on each team. It's a real-time game where you are sitting at the table without knowing where each other are, and you are moving around on a field as a submarine, and you're trying to blow up the other team's submarine, and you're firing rockets at each other, and you're trying to spy on where each other are and stuff like that. Super awesome game, super stressful when you start getting blown up and you don't know where the other people are, stuff like that. I have other games like Pipeline. I mean, the art on these games are just getting ridiculous, in that they're spending good money to get good art on board games. This was my favorite game of 2019. Is a little bit more with puzzles, forming pipes to refine oil. I know that sounds like a really exciting topic. We have Black Angel, where it's a futuristic humanity's trying to save themselves. That we've exhausted the Earth's resources, and now we're getting onto a spaceship where we found a planet that can house human life, but we have to just freeze all human life and just put charge of computer AIs to take care of the ship to get us to the new planet, and each player is a computer AI that are competing to do the best job at that. We have other games like War Sekigahara, where they are fighting over the reunification of Japan. So I guess in 1600s. The two factions really were battling. So this is a 2-player game, a block war game. You get a bunch of blocks, so you can kind of tell the size of an army, but you don't really tell how effective or strength it is. So it kind of resembles the amount of information they have back in those days. So you can set up the game to look a little bit like, I don't think there are pictures in here, but there's all these blocks with different symbols and cards. Really fun, interesting game. We have other games like Feudum, which looks really cool and friendly, and this is probably one of the most difficult games that I have. It is really neat, and I actually have never played it yet. So I have games that I've spent a lot of money, like probably at least $100, and I've never played it because trying to find people that will sit down and spend 3 hours, 4 hours to play and learn a game, it's just really hard to do. But I will get this played at some point. And we have, I'm going to leave this one to the side, Lignum. Now this game looks really lame, and there's a lot of aspects about this game that are in theme really lame. But oh man, this game is so much fun. You are each loggers, and you are you're going along this track, and you're following this track, and you are preparing for that coming season's logging season, and so you're hiring workers, and you're getting sawyers and saws and equipment and stuff to move your logs, and then you're trying to cut those logs into boards, and then you might be drying those boards to sell them for a high price. So that's all you're doing is logging in this game. But it's really strategic. There's a lot of planning where you're planning for future seasons and trying to utilize in the winter when that comes, moving your logs down the frozen river. I know, it's crazy stuff. I have other games like this that aren't even out of Shrink, like they are still in Shrink. I actually have played this because I have a friend that has the game too, and it's awesome. And this game is huge and also very challenging. But I played a number of his games, so I actually didn't find it too challenging. But most people would say, hey. But you'll notice they have like a learn to play. That a lot of times you don't have to read the rules anymore. You can just go onto YouTube and watch people explain the rules, and you can just learn the game by watching other people explain it. Now I'm sure that video to explain the rules was an hour long because of the complexity. We have Detective City of Angels, where literally everyone is a detective on the board, and they're trying to find out a clue. One person is trying to trip everybody up, so they kind of have the answers to the questions, so these other players can investigate the other these characters in these stories that you play, and they can kind of give you bad answers or okay answers, and you can like call them out and be like, oh, I don't think you're giving me the best answer, and if they did, then they kind of gain leverage over some of the players. But if they didn't, they have to give it to you, and they can kind of get leverage over the person who's kind of playing the case. So it's kind of cool sort of games that are different out there. This isn't like your typical Clue. This is kind of like a really interactive story, and they have like a bunch of stories in the game, so you're not going to quickly run out of that. So we have just like right here, nine stories to play in the game with different characters that are going to come up through those different stories. You can see there, and different stuff like that. So plus the expansions that there are out there for these games, so you're just never going to have too much content. You have other games like Formula D. This game, you're pretty much just simulating an Indy car race. I have a number of different maps, and you're just rolling, and if you just come into turns too fast, you're going to spin out and wreck your car, and you're going to damage your tires and do other stuff. So you're like trying to switch gears at the right time and hit the turns, because if you go through the turns too fast, you're going to have to stop in them. This is kind of a classic a game that would be kind of fun to play with just some friends. I have Kickstarter is a big part of board games nowadays. I don't know if you guys know what Kickstarter is, but Kickstarter is basically a platform for anything to basically garner support for an idea that they have. And board games has kind of hijacked Kickstarter because board games, unlike video games, require a lot of capital to start off with to make all these games that people have envisioned. Well, Kickstarter allows people to show their vision, get everyone to pre-order their game, and then they'll just go make as many games as they got pre-ordered and then delivered, and voila, everything's happy. So I just got one in this week, oddly enough. I have really stopped doing anything Kickstarter-wise because there's so much of it that is overpaying for something you don't know if you'll like, or you don't really know if it's any good. But this I did buy because I thought it would be a good game to play with my family. It's a cooperative game, so we're all on the same team, and we're kind of playing a story together. This game is huge, Sleeping Gods. I know this designer, so it's kind of like tobacco brands. I know this designer. I like his game, so I have no qualms getting into that without knowing exactly what I'm getting. And so we'll play different characters and play the story, and we'll make decisions in the story, and we'll kind of play out like a campaign type thing. But with the Kickstarter, you can get some purchase some exclusive stuff. Like I can get this metal ship, and I can get these resources that actually look like the real resources versus like cubes and stuff. So there's some stuff like that where you can go as deep as you want into the game. So there's people that just spend thousands and thousands of dollars just on Kickstarter. But I kind of held off the Blood Rage and Scythe because these were games that I really liked. Blood Rage, you're kind of in a Norse world, and you have different guys fighting over Yggdrasil, and it's a combat game, but there's a lot of surprise, and there's a lot of cards that we're dealing with in this game. But the part that I want to show with you is this is one of the games where they come with, a number of these games come with little miniatures that you can play, and some of these I have started to paint. I don't know how much of this you guys can see. Yeah, you can kind of see that. And just a number of these guys I've started to paint because you just kind of like, once you know this game is like awesome, too legit. Oh man, there we go. That it's just a lot of fun to play with the guys that actually look like dudes. So that was showing some of my miniatures there, Horatio. I got a bunch more to paint here. I've kind of been off the game for a while now. Been too busy to be painting some more of these. So that's kind of an example. It also came with a board, but I ended up buying like a mat that you could roll out that just looks awesome. And so that's Blood Rage. But then Scythe is another, this game's kind of more like your traditional They call them Euro games. So a Euro game is kind of more strategic, less luck, where some of the other games, they call them Ameritrash, are like the fighting, and you're just brawling out and you're trying to do some stuff. So this thing has awesome components. These coins in this game I have are actual metal money. Other components that actually look like oil barrels and other stuff. But I also have painted all of these guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. Whoops, moving things. So these are the heroes in the game, and then there's also all these different mechs. I guess they're behind the foam here. You get this mechanized infantry. So this is in the future, but in the past, one of those weird deals. So you just get to have fun painting these guys, and then just being able to bring them to battle with each other and just have fun. So I only do kind of go that deep into games that I'm just like, man, I love this game. It's never leaving my collection. Where some of these, I try to get rid of the games I don't really care for. I don't like having a game I don't want to play. If someone points at a game in my collection, I want to be like, yeah, that'll be fun to play. Let me turn around the camera. So yeah, that's kind of my games. I just love playing them. I love the interaction that I get playing with them. I started out collecting board games, not really collecting them, just playing them. When I visited college and they had Settlers of Catan, and so I was in high school, that just kind of kicked it off, and I played that game so many times. It's still a good game. I would still play it, but there's just so many better games. And now I've kind of gravitated to more complex games. I like playing games where I have strategies and I can't really anticipate what anybody else is going to do, and they surprise me with the actions that they do with their games. Or I just like games that make people laugh and have a really good time, or just create memorable moments. It's just a lot of fun. That's the cool part about the board games, is that you're like connecting with people across the table. There's usually a type of game for everyone, and sometimes games work with some people real well, and then other people you'll just be like, man, that was a total flop. I wish that would have played better. So it's, some of the games are just part of the group, and I have a group of people here that I would pre-COVID play every week with, and then another group that I'd play once a month with, and some of these others. So I kind of have to do that because my wife's not too much into the board games. She's pretty competitive like me, and just playing two-player games with two competitive people can not be great. And then I play with the kids sometimes, but they like the video games a little bit more still. I'm hoping. My youngest, he likes the board games. So maybe someday we'll be able to play more of these games that aren't for the little kids. And that's my board game collection. You have any questions, let me know. But really, it's a deep rabbit hole of fun for me. So anyways, if you made it this far, you're crazy. See ya.